Brothers and sisters, it is with great excitement and anticipation that I introduce to you our special guest of the event. We are honored, and I am absolutely thrilled to introduce this musical recital by Miss Dana Gillespie. Dana is a British singer, actress, and songwriter. She is also an ardent devotee of our beloved Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba, and has performed in the Divine Presence on numerous occasions. She has a very special and unique bond with our beloved Lord. So, brothers and sisters, get ready to be transported and share in the yearning of this modern day Mirabai. Here is Miss Dana Gillespie, everyone.
Okay, I think because we better start with Vinayaka, and I'm going to tell you why there might be a little bits of delays. All the backing tracks have gone into the computer, and I'm completely non-techno. I can hardly work a mobile telephone. I know you probably think I'm an old fossil, but, well, I am, actually. So, thank you. And so it's the list of all the songs are in there, so I'm announcing the song, so it gives them time to find it on the computer. And I know you've already done bhajans and have started with a Ganesha bhajan, but for my own help, I need to start with one called Vinayaka, which you all know, because if there's going to be any obstacles, I certainly need Ganesha to sort it out for us. Let's see how it goes, and then we'll carry on with some stories. And at any point, if anyone wants to ask me any questions, put your hand up. Siddhi Vinayaka Bhava Bhayanasha. Siddhi Vinayaka Bhava Bhayanasha. Suramuni Vandita Shri Ganesha. Suramuni Vandita Shri Ganesha. Vishwadhara Vinayaka. Vishwadhara Vinayaka. Vishwadhara Vinayaka. Vishwadhara Vinayaka. Baba Bayanasha
Siddhivinayaka Baba Bayanasha
Suramuni Vandita Shri Ganesha
Suramuni Vandita Shri Ganesha
Vishwadara Vinayaka
Vishwadara Vinayaka
Vishwadara Vinayaka
Vishwadara Vinayaka
Right, well now we know that the machinery and everything is working. You may notice that I sway around a bit, and I've always done this, even when I've sung in Putta Party, and it used to worry me, but once music starts, I can't not sway. Have any of you seen me sing in the cycle one at all? If you have, put your hands up. Oh, well, 1, 2, 3 or 4. Well, it worried me because I know that I'm not usually the type of singer that sits there like a block of stone and doesn't move. I'm like this. And one time Swami came out onto the veranda and he said, "Look at Dana, she's always going like this." And he did me better than I do me. So ever since then I felt okay with swinging about, because I always wanted to make the wonderful music of bhajans more available to the Western ear. I mean, you know, you're all brought up to listening to bhajans. I wasn't. I was actually christened Church of England and was a bit lapsed, I must tell you, by the age of 13. And it took me, well, it was 40 years ago, I think, that I first went to Swami. It took me till 40 years ago that I'd even go near a church. However, I'm going to first tell you how I first went to Swami, because I wasn't born like some of you were lucky enough to be born into devotee families. Somebody gave me a book. It happened to be Man of Miracles. And what attracted me about this book about Swami was that it said it didn't matter what religion you were, any religion, come to me. And I thought, well, that sounds like my kind of thing. And 3 weeks later, I leapt onto a plane, which is something I never do unless I'm going to do concerts. And I've been doing concerts since 1965, when I was 16. You can work out the maths of how old I am. So that's all I've done in my life is singing, except for a few rather dreadful films in between, but that's another story. So I thought, well, I had this feeling that he was pulling me in. I felt like he was kind of winding a fisherman's rod and I was being pulled in. And I thought 3 weeks later, I didn't know anybody, I didn't have a clue what to do, except I just knew that you had to wear a scarf somewhere, but that was about my only knowledge, except the one book I'd read. And I somehow had this feeling that Swami was going to go, "Hello, I've been waiting for you." And he ignored me. And not only did he ignore me then, he ignored me for the next 12 years. And yet every year I kept going back just to sit for a couple of weeks, usually at the back, because I've always had a bad knee. But actually in the last 7 years I've got 2 new knees, and a new hip put in August. I'm actually feeling rather bionic these days. However, then I was in agony and I was always at the back because I couldn't sit cross-legged, so they had to put this blasted Westerner out of the way where she's not going to get in anybody's way. And after 12 years of going there all the time and watching Swami, often from miles away, it felt like miles, I'd always said to myself, you know, I don't mind where I am as long as I can see a tiny bit of orange sticking out from behind a pillar, or even one hair. That would be enough for me. And this is what I considered to be the norm, actually. But while I was listening, every time I came to put a party, and every time I went to bhajans, in those days I'd go to Russell Square, I kept thinking, I'm a musician. Surely I should be able to make CD and make this music a little bit more accessible to the Western ear. So some of you may know this story, but I think it's kind of funny, actually. I thought, well, I'll do some bhajans and I'll put it on a cassette, because CDs had only just been invented. And I thought, well, if I get it on a cassette, I'll try and offer it to him. Because from afar, I could see people offering things, and Swami was blessing and doing stuff. But I was always at the back, so it didn't mean very much to me. And I kept thinking, how am I going to get this to him, this cassette? And on my very last day before I was due to go back, and I'd had it in my mind that if he would bless this cassette, then I'd print it in this new format of CDs. And I'd wrapped it up in what you call a jiffy bag, and I'd stuck it in my underwear here where there's quite a bit of space. And somehow I found myself for the first time ever in the front row. I thought, well, I better suffer with my bad knees. And Swami and I'd stuck it in there. We're sitting waiting. It was hot, of course. And Swami comes out and he just walks straight up, stands right in front of me, and he goes, the singer, give me the cassette. Now, I had told nobody I had a cassette stashed there because, sometimes they pad you down. You weren't allowed to take them in, but they hadn't found it. And I was there always alone. Nobody on the planet knew I had a cassette stuck in my bra, except for Swami. So then I had to have the embarrassing thing of actually fishing the thing out and handing it to him. And of course it was a sort of rather damp jiffy bag because it had been sitting in there sweating. So he just took the package and went inside the mandir. And I thought I'd do a song from that album. It's all bhajans, but I closed that album with one song called Guardian Blue Angel. So I wrote this thinking about Swami, and often when I used to think about him when writing, I'd be in floods of tears. I've since learned that whenever I was lucky enough to sing for him, people would say to me, isn't it bliss to get up there and sing? No, bliss is not the word. If there was any bliss, it's when I'm on my own thinking about him. But whenever I've been up on a stage, and sometimes he's been sitting as close as that photograph, I have a feeling that he switches me off so that I'm not in floods of tears. Nobody wants to look at an overweight singer bursting into tears on a stage. They want a performance, and I've always felt Swami wanted me to get his message across. So this was the one song that is not a bhajan on this first album. And this album, I've since made about 10 or 12 bhajan albums, but this one I called myself, for 3 albums, I called myself Third Man, because I thought, as I'm a blues singer, and some of you may not know that much about blues music, but I will tell you about blues music in a little while. I thought, I don't want my blues fans or followers to pick up a CD and go, this looks interesting, and then puts on something, in India, and then they don't understand it. So I thought Third Man would be nice and kind of anonymous. So I was thinking about Swami, and I'd written this song with a friend of mine, actually, and I was thinking, how can I want to sing about Swami, but orange is a very difficult word to sing about. It doesn't flow nicely. Nothing rhymes with the word orange. So I thought orange is out, but I was sitting in bhajans in Russell Square, and I was looking at a picture of Krishna, and he was blue, of course. He was baby blue. And I thought, right, I'll call this song Guardian Blue Angel, because he saved me many times. Oh, guardian blue angel, spread your wings over this weary child, so safe and sound. I'm tired of running wild. There's been so many times when you saved me from the lion's jaw, saved me from myself, you opened up the door. Oh, guardian blue angel, teach me how to fly. Take this broken angel back to the sky. Take this broken heart back to the light. Oh, help this restless soul take flight. Oh, take flight. I'm calling to you. You're the one that watches over me. Kiss away my tears and show me how to see. With my hand in yours, there's a chance I can make it through. In these troubled times, I turn to you. Oh, guardian blue angel, teach me how to fly. Take this broken angel back to the light. Take this broken heart back to the light. Oh, help this restless soul take flight. Oh, take flight. Oh, guardian blue angel, oh, guardian blue angel, oh, guardian blue angel, oh, guardian blue angel. Guardian blue angel. Thank you. Well, I had this bonkers, mad idea to try and take Swami's music and his message to further afield, but I really didn't know enough after 12 years of coming and going there. And then after he'd blessed this CD, a few weeks later, I get a call from the organization, sadly not from Swami himself, saying, would you like to perform at the 70th birthday? Would I? Stupid question. I said, yes, of course. So I said to the person on the telephone from Bangalore, I said, well, I've just done this bhajan CD. You want me to sing bhajans? He said, no, Swami wants your Western music. Now, this is quite tricky. Were any of you at the stadium for the 70th birthday? No. Were any of you at the 75th or 80th birthday in the stadium? Have you been to the stadium? Well, one person, it's huge, it's mammoth, it's enormous. So I was kind of in a pickle because if I was going to do Western music for a start, where am I going to find some musicians that play my style of music to come out? I did find some musicians, but I said, look, you won't get paid, you can't eat meat, and you can't drink or smoke. Needless to say, half my band weren't even interested to come out there. But I managed to get a motley crew of 4 guys, who 2 of them didn't know the other 2. So we met over in Puttaparthi for the first time, and to sing blues. Now, I know for a fact that nobody had ever heard blues music. I'm going to sing you a song called I Sigh for You. It's one that I did at the 70th birthday. And I know that that probably 99.9% of the people in the audience, especially the students, were all thinking, what is this ghastly music? Has Swami lost the plot totally? Because it's not the sort of thing they had ever heard. We even had trouble finding a drum kit. I mean, everything's changed now and everyone's much more modern, but you have to think it was then for the 70th birthday. And my musicians had never seen a place like an ashram. I was kind of used to it and wandered around and was in bliss because for the first time ever, I wasn't sleeping on the sheds on the floor. I got a room on my own. Not only that, they stuck a big thing saying artist here, which was like kind of, this got you everywhere. And I was escorted everywhere, so no longer waiting in the queues for the food. I was pushed to the front, which I find rather embarrassing. And I was sitting in the front, which was sort of uncomfortable for my knees. However, this artist badge was a godsend. So I'm going to do this song for you, and you have to remember that nobody had heard this kind of music. In fact, they were a bit unsure how to plug the electric guitar in. But what I did was I wrote a song in a style of blues, because blues can come from Chicago, from New Orleans. It's mostly American, but there was a big tradition of blues in England in the 60s, and all these famous bands like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, they all started with blues because it's a very simple kind of music, and it's usually come from emotions and feeling. So I thought, well, if I do something in the style of a blues, but try and write something that's suitable to sing in the ashram. And I did a boogie-woogie thing that won't mean much to you called Happy Birthday Baba. And then I wrote this one called I Sigh for You. I thought I was being clever. I sigh, sigh, with a double meaning. So sit back and listen to another type of music. Everyone else I know was shocked in the audience. And there's Swami. By the way, the moment I started the first chord, he'd been sitting on the chair, and he gets up and he walks over to the jeweler and he's swinging backwards and forwards while this kind of music, he's looking happy, everyone else is probably looking a little worried. You'll see why when you hear this song. I sigh, oh I sigh for you. I sigh, oh I sigh for you. 'Cause no one can thrill me the way you do. Well I sigh for you. Now every time I see you I wanna fall at your feet. Without you in my heart my life won't be complete. Well I sigh, oh I sigh for you. Oh, no one can thrill me the way you do. Well, I sigh for you. You're never far away, I can feel you near. And then those words you say, well, I feel when I'm here. Well, I sigh, oh, I sigh for you. 'Cause no one can thrill me the way you do. Well, I sigh for you. I want you in my dreams when I go to sleep at night. And in my darkest hour, you'll be my guiding light. Well, I sigh, oh, I sigh for you. Well, no one can thrill me the way you do. Well, I sigh for you. Now this is where you should be clapping. ocean of love just keep shining on me like the sun and moon above. Oh, I sigh. Oh, I sigh for you. 'Cause no one can thrill me the way you do. Well, I sigh for you. Now you're never far away, I can feel you near. And then those words you say, what I feel when I'm here. Well, I sigh. Oh, I sigh for you. 'Cause no one can thrill me the way you do. Well, I sigh. Well, I sigh for you. I sigh. Oh, I sigh for you. I sigh. Well, I sigh for you. 'Cause no one can thrill me the way you do. Well, I sigh. Well, I sigh for you. Yeah, I sigh for you. Thank you. So it's not the sort of thing that would normally have been sung in the stadium. I know that there were students there who are now grown up and married and things, and I've questioned them. I've said, what on earth did you feel when you saw me singing this music? And they said, oh, we hated it. We thought Swami had really gone mad. What's happened here? But, I think Swami kind of used me to get his message across to Westerners. Because there I was sitting outside, desperate for an interview. I know that interview is more important than interview. But when you're sitting there and you see everyone else being taken up left, right, and centre, and you're yearning, I was yearning. And I'm almost ashamed to say I was yearning to see what this little room was like. I'd heard that it was a tiny little room, and somehow he managed to squeeze 30 people or more into this tiny little room. And I longed to see what was going on in there. And it was only after the 70th birthday that everyone has said, don't worry, Swami always takes the artists in the day after they performed. So I was feeling rather confident. And all the musicians and the cricket stars, like Gavaskar and Kalicharan, they were all there. Everyone was lined up. Obviously men and women separately. And Swami comes out and he goes, and he says, go. Every single person was called in for the interview except for me. I sat outside on my own, totally alone, feeling for once really hated, because they probably were thinking, oh, he didn't pick her because of that dreadful music. And I was feeling so awful. How was I going to get up and walk out of there with my head held high without breaking down? And every time I tell this story, I can still almost taste the blood in my gums as I chewed on my gums so as not to break down and cry and to stand up. My mother had always taught me that you should be gracious in every circumstance. So I had to get up and walk out as if I didn't care, which of course was baloney because I really cared. And I got outside the Sai Kulwant Hall, got to my room and howled into my pillow because everyone else had been taken in except for me. However, he did take mercy on me a few months later when I'd come back and I was taken in. I've often been asked, what goes on in there, or can you tell us some experiences in there? And, I can't really tell you because I've had quite a lot of interviews. I've been very lucky, but they've all kind of merged into one in a way because, first of all, Swami always said, if he tells you something that's in the interview room or gives you something, you keep it in your heart. It's something precious. If you start trumpeting it around, it loses its value. That's one thing. And also, I used to lose my mind. I'd walk into the room and I was like a sort of zombie. I'd sit there and I knew what was going on, but I never had any questions. Many people I saw would go into, they'd be called in maybe with their children, and they'd be going in and they'd have a shopping list for Swami, when can you find a daughter for my son? He needs to get married, those kind of things, or should I change my job, that kind of thing. I never had any questions because the moment I got in there, I didn't need to know anything. Just sitting in his presence was absolutely enough. And anyway, he knew everything, so why should I ask him anything? However, after quite a few years of going to Putta Party and being lucky enough to be interviewed, he once said to me, "Do you want to ask me a question?" And I couldn't think of anything intelligent, actually, so I just said, "Well, Swami, what is the point of it all? Why? Why are we here?" And he just said these 5 very important words, and I shall repeat them to you because I find them very important. He just said, "Play the game, be happy." Now, how simple is that? We just have to play the game and be happy, and probably not be judgmental or anything as well. But those 5 words have carried me through dark, sometimes difficult times, and I'm just telling them to you because, first of all, it's the only really important thing I can remember when I've staggered out of the interview room, either with saris or the booty falling, or even sometimes bits of jewellery. Got a bit of bling round here, but it's kind of covered up. But I do wear a necklace that he gave me. He said, "I'm giving you this to protect your voice." And I must say, when I've been in really ill and I've been in other places, I put this necklace on and somehow my voice has survived. I mean, I probably shouldn't be singing even today because a cold often takes 2 weeks to get over, and I'm only into about day 8 or 9. Anyway, I'm here, so that's good. So that was after the 70th birthday, and then came the 75th birthday. Well, I sang in between, and I came in with musicians, and the 75th, there I was still refusing to get into a sari, and by this time I bought my regular band. There were about 7 musicians, and it was quite difficult for them too, not believers, all meat eaters and smokers and drinkers, not interested to be on an ashram ever. But Swami had said to me, "Don't worry, I will look after them. They will be well fed, you will see, and they'll have a nice room." Now, I have always considered it a real bit of a bonus if you're not sleeping on the sheds. I mean, I have done the sheds, and it was good experiences, but the thought of an actual bed, and my musicians would not have accepted life on the ground because they just weren't programmed for that. But Swami was true to his word. Everything worked out, and nobody was here on the 75th birthday. Nobody was in Putta Party. Okay, well, it was huge. You know, again, the stadium was full, and my musicians had been there for ages doing the sound check, and things were quite complicated to get going. And Swami had said, "Don't worry, I'll send food." And just when I was about to have a rebellion of musicians on my hand, a truck arrives with the biggest pot of paisam you've ever seen. Now, everyone who knows me knows that I'm mad about paisam, kheer. And there was this massive pot, and we were able to feed loads of people, all the lighting people. And then just before the concert, everyone had to change and get ready. And in the Shanti Vedika, where this was all going on, looking out at the stadium, the boys could change quite happily, but there was nowhere for me to change. They hadn't catered for a female. So somebody said, "Well, you better change in Swami's room." So gladly I went into Swami's room, and it was kind of neat and everything. I don't think he did interviews in there, I don't know. But I even got a chance to use his loo, which I thought was kind of interesting. So when I came out in my shalva kameez and a gold dupatta, he comes on and he says, and it had been sort of drizzly, not very nice weather, and Swami said to me, "What do you think of the weather?" I said, "Well, Swami, I'm from London, it rains all the time, so I'm kind of used to it." And he looked at me like that, and he looked a bit quizzical, and I could see these clouds up there, but about 5-10 minutes later, I looked up, and it was almost as if they'd all been given their marching orders and had gone back from whence they came, and the whole thing worked out marvellously with no hitch. And by this time, people were starting to get used to a bit of Western music, and even the students were starting to play more Western instruments. I think there was even a guitarist by his 76th birthday, because this 75th went out with no problems. And the following year I came back for the 76th birthday, and Swami said, "Where are your musicians?" And I said, well, Swami, I haven't actually got any with me. He said, don't worry, I will send my boys. Now, again, this sounds mad, but, you know, the white Western women didn't really mix, or women, I should say, nothing to do with Western, didn't mix with the students. They were kind of his Swami's jewels. And so the house that I was staying in had a bang opposite where the Shanti Bhavan is now. There was a room at the back, which was perfect for a practice room. And that afternoon, 7 boys with one of the teachers turn up, carrying their instruments, and we sit down and they have to learn my Western music. And they'd never played anything like that before. And one particular boy, whose name is Sai Prakash, but he's now kind of quite high up in the video section, and he doesn't mind me telling this story because I have cleared it with him. He taught himself sitar, and he'd only been playing for about 2 years. And it's, as you know, it's a very difficult instrument. And so every day at rehearsals, you know, he'd be piddling around, and, you know, I kept thinking, God, he's never going to get it in tune. It's going to be a disaster. But they were all trying to learn this Western music. And sometimes we'd rehearse in the back room there, and sometimes actually in the Purna Chandra, which was, at that point, Swami was living above it. And it would be empty, and we'd be playing, and the curtains of the Purna Chandra would be behind me, and the boys would be practicing away, and I'd be facing them, and suddenly they'd sometimes put down their instruments, and that was a sign that something had happened. And I'd peep round the back, and Swami had sort of just peeped through the curtain, or sometimes, to make it really funny, he'd peep through low down or high up just to make the boys and me giggle. Anyway, after we'd been doing this rehearsals, I'm telling you these stories really to remind you how humane he was in the middle of all this saving the planet. He was able to think of the smallest little things. So he came up to me and he said, I'm coming to the rehearsal on Thursday. Don't tell anyone but the household, but I want to hear the songs. So I had to tell the boys, so that we were all in our best. And I had to tell the lady of the house where I was staying, because there was a table full of food laid out for afterwards, for enough for about 15 people. And we were all in the back room, me and the boys, practicing. And I've got to say, you could almost feel his energy getting closer. He hadn't been into this house for quite a few years, and there was a stream of people apparently had followed him in. We'd planned for 15 people to be fed. In the end, about 50 people got fed. How it worked, I don't know, but that's how Swami did things. So he comes in, the boys all put their instruments down, and he talks to us, and he says, okay, I want to hear the songs. So we play the songs for him. Everything's fine. And we go out to the room outside where this long table is, with 15 plates of savory stuff and 15 bowls of paisam. And I'm standing right behind Swami, and I'm taking the plates from him, passing them round, and I'm thinking, oh, Swami, I don't want any of that savory nonsense. I'd like to go straight to the paisam. And without missing a beat, he reaches forward, and I'm standing behind him, picks up the paisam, gives it a little stir, hands it to me with a smile, and then goes on to the savory. So this, I'm telling you this because be careful what you wish for, because it might not be what's good for you. I mean, probably if I ate too much paisam, it wouldn't be that good for me either, but when you get it from the hands of the Lord, it's definitely okay. And the concert went off. Well, there where I was, slightly whinging to the lady of the house, saying, I don't know how we're going to get through the concert because of this sitar, is really awful. And I'm sitting, the people have all got their food on their plates, and Swami is sitting there, and I'm next to him, but I do keep a respectful one empty seat between him and me, because much as I might have liked to cozy up to him, I didn't think it's a sort of done thing. So everyone's kind of eating, and he's looking at people eating, and suddenly this boy, Sai Prakash, who was still a student then, rushed into the other room and came back with a little silver pot of, maybe it was cloves, I'm not sure what he was offering up, but he offered it to Swami, and while Swami was sitting there, he took whatever it was in this silver thing. I looked in Sai Prakash's face, and I saw so much love while looking at the Lord that I understood why it has been said that if you really want to see God, you see God by looking in the face of everyone else. We don't have to look at Swami, we just have to see God in everyone else. And I saw it in this boy. And that evening I said to my friend in the house, I said, I don't even care if there's no strings on his blasted sitar. I have just seen something so amazing, and it was a very strong lesson for me. And you know, on the day of the concert, he played amazingly. Not a note was wrong, and he was totally in tune. So Swami can also work miracles all over the place. I'd like to do another song now called, well, it's a bhajan, Salam Alaikum. And this is off an album I did called Sing Out. And I used to go to, did any of you ever go to Whitefield? A few hands go up, okay. On Thursdays, or maybe it was Sundays, there would be bhajans all day, but there was a slot in the middle of the day, which was when they'd let the Westerners get on, because everyone had gone off to eat or it was too hot to be out, so stick those Westerners on, nobody's listening anyway. And I used to think, well, they're quite good singers. Why don't I'd like to go and sing in with them for a start, which I did. I went to the practices and things. And I said, why don't I make a CD? Why don't I book a recording studios in Bangalore? And let's make an album, ladies. So they were all game for it, and we all practiced our songs. And we were thinking, what should we call ourselves? Well, we jokingly called ourselves the Brindavan Babes, but I knew that wouldn't last onto a CD cover. So in the end, we were just called the Shanti Sisters. So we practiced up, and I got a van, a minibus thing to take us to the studios after the last bhajans before the recording sessions. And I booked the studios, which has a big room for the musicians and then a smaller room for the control, and with a glass window. This is important in part of the story, so you could see through to the musicians or singers. And I got the musicians sorted out. But the day before going, we couldn't find a harmonium player. And then I suddenly saw one of the boys that had played for me. His name was Satya. He's now a teacher in Prashanti, but he was the one who played keyboards and harmonium for me for the 76. And I said, oh, Satya, I'm in dire straits. Can you come and play tomorrow, a ladies' choir? And that you could see him almost kind of going, oh, God. So I said, but, you know, we haven't got keyboards. He said, well, you'll have to ask Swami. I can't. I'm a student. I can't leave to go into Bangalore. So I had one last option that morning. I wrote on a big piece of paper, because I didn't want to write a letter and stick it in an envelope. Swami might have taken the letter, but I needed an answer then and there. So I basically wrote in large writing, dearest Swami, please can I borrow Satya to come and play harmonium for a ladies' choir in the studio, and don't worry, I'll make sure he's well chaperoned. So Swami comes out, and I'm sitting on a side ledge, and I always sat on tiger skin, not real tiger skin, but tiger material cushion. And he comes up and he said, hello, tiger, which I thought was quite nice. So I handed him this piece of paper, and he opens it up, and he goes, Satya, ladies' choir. And he put a real terrible look of horror on his face. Studios. And then he broke into a smile. He said, yes. So then I had to get a separate thing to take Satya to the studios, because we couldn't have him with all these ladies. There were about 15 of us, aged from maybe 18 to 70, which is why Brindavan Babes seemed rather inappropriate for many reasons. So we get to the studios, and we're all doing our bhajans. And one of the girls in the choir had rather nice shape. I mean, okay, we were all in our saris. I bought them all pink saris of different shades so that we had some unity. But one of them, she would move a bit when she sang the bhajan, so her hips swayed. And I saw to my horror that she was in exactly the line of vision of Satya, the student. So I had to quickly come in and move her to another area where he couldn't see, because I'd given my word to Swami that everyone would be chaperoned, I mean, especially him. So this is one of the songs that I recorded with these lovely ladies, and let's just sing in with it. And strangely enough, it's a very old bhajan. They nearly never sing it in Puttapati. I'm told it's 50 years old. I'm very fond of it, so I guess you probably know it too, because I'm sure all of you know the bhajans better than me. Salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam.
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 Allahu, Allahu, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu, Allahu, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu, Allahu, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu, Allahu, Allahu Akbar.
Salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam.
Salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam.
Ora Zoroastra, Yesu Mahavira.
Gora Zoroastra, Yesu Mahavira.
Ora Zoroastra, Yesu Mahavira.
Gora Zoroastra, Yesu Mahavira.
Nanak ji ki jai jaykar ho.
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 Sai Nath ki jai jaykar ho.
साईनाथ की जय जयकार हो.
Sai Nath ki jai jaykar ho.
साईनाथ की जय जयकार हो.
Salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam.
सलाम अलैकुम, सलाम अलैकुम, सलाम अलैकुम, सलाम.
Salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam.
सलाम अलैकुम, सलाम अलैकुम, सलाम अलैकुम, सलाम.
Allahu, Allahu, Allahu Akbar.
अल्लाहो 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 अकबर.
Salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam.
सलाम अलैकुम, सलाम अलैकुम, सलाम अलैकुम, सलाम.
Ora Zoroastra, Yesu Mahavira.
Gora Zoroastra, Yesu Mahavira.
Nanak ji ki jai jaykar ho.
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 Sai Nath ki jai jaykar ho.
साईनाथ की जय जयकार हो.
Sai Nath ki jai jaykar ho.
साईनाथ की जय जयकार हो.
Salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam alaikum, salam. Being somewhat unprofessional, I didn't actually notice the time that I came up here to start singing, so I don't know when I'm meant to finish. And anyway, I can't see the clock over there. Can somebody sort of tell me what I've got left? Renu, where are you?
Yeah, you have 25 minutes.
Oh, is that all?
Yes.
Gosh, the time whizzes by. Swami once called me in and he said to me, and I never understood this, he said, I'm going to give you spiritual diamonds and you will take them all over the world. Now, I hadn't a clue what he was talking about, so I just said, yes, Swami. But within 6 months, I suddenly found myself being invited to, well, all over the world, everywhere, strange enough, except for South America, but very often to America, all over Russia, literally from Siberia to Dagestan, to places that are unpronounceable names to me. And, there are many, many devotees in all these Russian-speaking countries. And whenever I wasn't doing a blues concert, I would go with the head of, well, he's dead now, but he was the head of zone, I can't remember what the zones are, 6, 8 or something, armed with my memory stick, and I could sing big concerts and small concerts, whoever was interested to hear, and I could tell stories about Swami. So he kind of predicted up front, he told me what I'm to do. This pandemic has slightly changed things because obviously nobody's flying anywhere, but I used to do a lot of this stuff before the pandemic started. Now I'm going to do one song for you which could have caused me controversy in Puttapati, but didn't, because, you know, Swami is always, I always felt that he was putting me up to be kind of maybe knocked or hated or in a challenging position, so that the normal rules that used to apply in Puttapati could sometimes be stretched a bit. And this is a song called Move Your Body Close to Me. And Swami this was another year, and I can't remember which year it was for the birthday it was, but it was the birthday was in the Sai Kulwant Hall. And Swami had said to me, now you practice these 5 songs, and I told him which the 5 songs were, and every day he used to come past and he'd go, 5 songs, so, or he'd mouth it or whisper it, or so that I could hear it, these 5 songs. So the day of the concert arrived, and I realized that I better get somebody to sort of type out the lyrics and hand it out as a leaflet to everyone, which it was duly done. And about 10 minutes before going out to sing, and already there was a singer, he often used to put me on with a singer called Parveen Sultana. So she'd be out there in the Sai Kulwant Hall doing her thing, and I'd be backside in the mandir waiting for my chance to go out there. And 2 people from quite high up in the Sai organization came up and said, we've just read the words of this song, you can't possibly sing it to Swami. I said, well, he told me to sing these 5 songs. Yeah, you can't use the word body because it's called Move Your Body Close to Me. My argument was that probably everyone in the audience was wanting Swami to move his body closer to them so they could touch his feet or, you know, get bopped on the head, whatever. But so I then had sort of 10 minutes. These 2 guys walked away, and I'd said to them, look, okay, I'll ask Swami just before I start to sing, should I do this song or not? Because if you think it's unsuitable, well, if he thinks it's unsuitable, he will tell me and I'll cut it down to 4 songs. But he had deliberately said these 5. So I go out there and I said, Swami, you know, what about this song? And he says, you do it, with a little twinkle in his eye. So it is, some might consider it unsuitable, but if the Lord tells you to sing it, you obey. You do not disobey, even if it means nobody's going to speak to you ever again. And strangely enough, the following year, after I'd sung this song, the following year, I actually was sick. I was in super specialty hospital, and somebody said to me, you see, you sang that song, he didn't like it. They hadn't realized I'd been in the hospital. So I'm going to do it for you now, and it actually was a hit for me, can you believe it, in Europe, because I'd always yearned for something to come closer in my life. I didn't know in what form it was going to be. I was certainly not expecting this form, because from where I came from, there wasn't anyone that even looked like that. And there wasn't anyone teaching such all-inclusive lessons, you know, for every religion. That's the thing that got me. It didn't matter what color, shape, size, religion. He loves us all. That got me. So let me sing you the song that could have got me into trouble, but didn't. Move your body close to me. Move your body close to me. Touch heart to heart, don't ever part. Won't give in. Move your body close to me. Move your body close to me. Reach out to feel that it's for real. Won't give in. Move your body close to me. How can you know? How can you know unless I show you? body close to me. Move your body close to me. Touch heart to heart, don't ever part. Won't give in. Move your body close to me. The sunrise, let the sunrise, just another morning, but with love shining out through my eyes. Let the daybreak, let the daybreak, only take my breath away with all the love that we made. Move your body close to me. Move your body close to me. Touch heart to heart, don't ever part. Won't give in. Move your body close to me. Don't take too long about it. Give your love the end. Let me take the blame for what's right or wrong. Don't take your time about it. Give your love. Let us move together all night long. So move your body close to me. Move your body close to me. Touch heart to heart, don't ever part. Won't give in. Move your body close to me. Move your body close to me. Move your body close to me. Dearest Swami, move your body close to me. Dearest Swami, close to me. Move your body close to me. Move your body close to me. Thank you. So you can tell it wasn't the normal thing that would be sung in the cycle at all, but Swami didn't mind, because he knew that I have to go out and sing all over the world, and not everyone actually wants to listen to bhajans. Amazingly enough, I'm happy to, but you don't really have them played on the radio. A friend of mine called Julian Clary, he was on something called Desert Island Discs on Radio 4, and he chose 2 songs of mine. But one of them, he chose my version of Guru Nanak Ji Ki Jai Jai Kar, and he chose it as his all-time favorite of the 8. I don't know if you ever listened to Desert Island Discs. And the BBC got loads and loads of letters from Sikhs because somebody's singing Guru Nanak. I wish they'd have more bhajans on the radio, but of course they don't, which is a shame. I'd like to... I think I'm going to have to blow my nose. This blasted cold actually had me flat out, and I didn't tell Renu because I didn't want her to get worried, but so sorry about the little scratch in the middle of that song. Yeah. It's not COVID. I was tested 2 days ago because I've just come back from being on tour in Belgium, so I'm clear with that, but it's just you good old British cold. I think I better do the most popular bhajan of all that I'm always asked to sing, which is Allahu Akbar. And I must tell you that when I first went to Putta Party, they used to sing that bit, La ilaha illallah, in the middle of it, not just at the end. And that's how I learnt it, and that's how I do it. And years later, I actually met the man who wrote this song, and he said, I don't understand. They never sing that nice bit in the middle in Putta Party. And I actually had said to Swami, I'm going in the studios to record this song. This bit that people now seem to leave out, should I do it or not? He said, you do it. So I do it, but I'm not sure why they still don't do it in Puttapati, but they don't. But it seems to be the one that most people ask for if they want me to sing a bhajan. Let's go for Allahu Akbar. It should blow the cobwebs away, I hope. Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Yesu Pita Prabhu Allahu Akbar, Shri Sai Pati Sai Tumo.
Yesu Pita Prabhu Allahu Akbar, Shri Sai Pati Sai Tumo.
Yesu Pita Prabhu Allahu Akbar, Shri Sai Pati Sai Tumo.
Yesu Pita Prabhu Allahu Akbar, Shri Sai Pati Sai Tumo.
La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah.
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 Guru Nanak Bhi tum ho, Zoroaster Mahavira tum ho.
Nanak Bhi tum ho, Zoroaster Mahavira tum ho.
Guru Nanak Bhi tum ho, Zoroaster Mahavira tum ho.
Nanak Bhi tum ho, Zoroaster Mahavira tum ho.
Yesu Pita Prabhu tum ho, Allahu Akbar tum ho.
Yesu Pita Prabhu tum ho, Allahu Akbar tum ho.
Yesu Pita Prabhu tum ho, Allahu Akbar tum ho.
Yesu Pita Prabhu tum ho, Allahu Akbar tum ho.
La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah.
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 Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Yesu Pita Prabhu Allahu Akbar, Shri Sai Pati Sai Tumo.
Yesu Pita Prabhu Allahu Akbar, Shri Sai Pati Sai Tumo.
La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah.
La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah.
La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah.
La ilaha illallah,
महावीर तुम हो यीशु पिता प्रभु तुम हो अल्लाह अकबर तुम हो
यीशु पिता प्रभु तुम हो अल्लाह अकबर तुम हो
ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह मुहम्मद रसूलुल्लाह
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 ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह
Thank you. I think I've sung that about 3 times, the Swami in the Sai Kulwant Hall. Now, how much time have we got left, Renu?
10 minutes more.
10 minutes, okay. Well, anyone who's seen me sing over in Putta Party, well, you know that if you go and perform or you do anything, you're meant to offer him, the beloved Lord, a rose. Well, I've never been able to get down on my knees because of my knee damage. When I was in my teens in the 60s, I was British junior water ski champion for 4 years, and I was caught in an avalanche, and my knees were the first thing that went. So I was always hobbling about, often on a walking stick. So there's no way I was going to get down on my knees in front of Swami, because I simply wouldn't be able to get up again without looking really ungraceful. And he always liked people to be graceful and to not kind of look a mess. And if I went down there, I'd be like a heifer lump trying to get up again. So I devised this. I thought the only way I could get round this problem is if I throw rose petals over him or put them on his feet. That way I didn't have to actually get down and kneel. And ever since then, I have done that with the rose petals. And even at the Samadhi in Sai Kulwant, even though he's physically not there, I've gone up and just thrown the rose petals on. And it makes people laugh, and it makes me smile, and it used to make him smile. And even for the 80th birthday, when he was quite weak, I was able to go out and put my rose petals on his feet. Actually, he had his feet covered, and as I came up close, he just lifted the robe. I put the petals on, and he put the robe down so that they were hidden. And I'd seen how red and swollen his feet were at the end. It was actually quite difficult, because I was singing for him, I suppose, about 4 months before the final thing in April. Anyway, I'd like to do a song for you now called Shower the Rose Petals, which is the one song of all the songs that I've done that aren't bhajans that I didn't write myself. They were written by the wife of Mrs. Damayanti Puri, who was the woman who was the main singer in Russell Square, which is a Sai centre that I've always gone to. She is no longer there, but she had a voice like a canary. But her sister, Geeta Chanalia, I was doing a Sai thing in Chicago, and after the whole thing was over, we're up in a room upstairs, and in the corner, Geeta's just playing a harmonium, and she comes out and she sings this song. And the moment she actually sang it, the hairs on my arm went up, and I knew that I must record it. So I'd like to do this song, which I have sung for Swami quite a few times, because it basically says it all. And boy, I wish I'd written it. Shower the Rose Petals. Shower the rose petals, shower the rose petals, shower the rose petals, shower the rose petals. Lord of the universe is walking towards us. Lord of the universe is walking towards us. Shower the rose petals, shower the rose petals, shower the rose petals, shower the rose petals. Lovely fragrance from the roses, lovely fragrance from the roses, lovely fragrance is Baba's vibhuti, lovely fragrance is Baba's vibhuti. I am in heaven, shower the rose petals. I am in heaven, shower the rose petals. Shower the rose petals. Shower the rose petals. Faith is truly a wonderful gift. Faith is truly a wonderful gift. Fill your heart with love and shower the rose petals. Fill your heart with love, shower the rose petals. See the rainbow in the sky. See the rainbow in the sky. Baba walking softly by. Baba walking softly by. Loving everyone. Shower the rose petals. Loving everyone. Shower the rose petals. Shower the rose petals. Shower the rose petals. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. I think that maybe my time is up, but while I'm up here, I just wanted to say one thing. Thank you for putting up with me telling these stories. And I discovered, I got some copies of, I don't know if people have CD players anymore, but I do have some CDs that were made specially for the 70th birthday, 75th birthday. So if anybody wants one, and if I've got enough here, I've got about that much, I didn't count them, of course. Please come and see me. But most people I know these days don't even have CD players. Shame on you. It's all on this horrible, miserable memory stick thing, which I don't do. But that's the rest of the world. But come and see me afterwards. Thank you so much. Sai Ram.